guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Just finished watching the match and Barcelona beat Athletic Club 2-1 at the Lluís Companys Stadium in Montjuic. That's now back-to-back 2-1 wins, but most importantly, 6 out of 6 points to start off the league season. And overall, a very strong performance from the blaugrana side, and let's discuss it. First, the starting lineup for this match is on the screen right now. It was Ter Stegen in goal, a back four of Kounde, Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, and Alejandro Balde. Double pivot of Pedri and Bernal. A front four of Lamine, Yamal, Raphinha, Varane, and Robert Lewandowski up front. I feel like Barcelona have played their best game under Hansi Flick so far, and we played a very strong attacking, pressing match. The game started off quite slow from both sides. To be honest, we saw both teams being a bit hesitant in the final third. Barcelona lacked a lot of intensity and pressure. What happens? Individual brilliance from Lamine Yamal to score the goal initially, which, took a little bit of a deflection that takes away from the beauty of it, but the strike was fantastic. Of course, it was a free kick coming in from Pedri, headed away. Lamine Yamal picks it up outside the box, fakes the shot, opens up the space, bends it, as you can see there in the picture, puts it in the bottom right hand corner and makes it 1-0. The goal we did concede, unfortunately, was a clear penalty from Cubarsí. I guess the challenge, you kind of have to make it to prevent the goal, but it was a clear penalty, no complaints. We go into the break 1-1. And then later on, we got the goal from Lewandowski. Beautiful link-up play down the left-hand side between Raphinha and Balde. Raphinha picks out Pedri in beautiful space. Fantastic run by Pedri as well. Puts a cross in, the keeper blocks it, drops Lewandowski in the open net, and he buries it to give Barcelona 3 massive points. Following the goal that we scored with Lamine Yamal, Barcelona were flawless in this game. I thought we played brilliantly well. Again, maybe some player decisions weren't the greatest in terms of, progressing the ball into the final third, but in terms of Flick, what he can do, tactics and system-wise, it was sublime. And do we now give the pass on this Bernal-Pedri double pivot? I don't know. We played a very good opponent at home. I feel like away from home, it wouldn't be a different atmosphere, but I think the Bernal-Pedri double pivot experiment gets a check mark for now. I wouldn't give it like a green light, but I give it a check mark for so far. It worked really well. We saw Pedri again dropping back a lot, helping Bernal defensive wise. It looked more so a lot like a 4-3-3 with Bernal sitting as a lone pivot a lot of the game, but I would still want to see it a few more times before I make a judgment. But I think today it worked out really well. Yes, after we scored that goal with Lamine Yamal, the pressure, the intensity, the level of the transition that we were playing at was sublime. Athletic Club did nothing in this game apart from them pressing us and pressing the ball forward pretty well in that open 20 minutes when it was quite even between the two sides. Before the Lamine Yamal goal, I was not worried about Athletic Club whatsoever. They had, I think, a glancing header like the 88th minute where Yarai could have put it in the back of the net, but apart from that, they were absolutely dead in this game, especially in the final third. They were defending a lot for their life. They defended very narrow because they wanted Barcelona to use their wide men instead of going into the space in the middle. And Barcelona kind of did a bit of both. They went out wide when they had to. They went inside when they needed to. And again, the only real criticism I have today from the team's performance is just the decisiveness, link-up play in the final third. Again, we talked about this a lot under Xavi last season, that, the players do everything right until the final third. When you rely on their own instinct, their own ability, sometimes it pulls off, sometimes it doesn't, and we need to get that more on the sometimes it does pull off. Like Pep famously says, the coach's job is to bring the team from the defensive line until the final third. Past the final third, it's down to the players to, make the decision. So I think overall, I'm very satisfied with this performance. If we keep this up for the entirety of the season at a consistent level, we could be cooking this season. Now, in terms of player ratings, firstly, in goal for Ter Stegen, I'll give him an average 6. Didn't really nothing much, to be honest. Had nothing to really do. But again, the penalty is a bit worrying. That's now 13 out of 13 penalties that Ter Stegen has faced in the league that have got past him in the past 2 years. He's not saved the league penalty since 2022. So he's got to get working on that because that record is piss poor. Kounde at right back. I'm going to have to marry this man. I'm starting to fall in love with Kounde. Like, he was the last signing that I was, so excited for, so ecstatic for, that I was dreaming for. And this is why. Had Nico Williams on absolute lockdown this game. First 20 minutes again when the game was quite even. Nico Williams, ran past him maybe a couple times. Never really passed him, through skill, maybe just run him down the byline with enough to create space for a cross. I think he put a nutmeg through him as well, like it was a pass nutmeg. But I think Lamine Yamal picked it up. Lamine Yamal and Kounde were double teaming a lot in that first half, but second half Kounde was just 1v1ing him to shit. Also, Kounde's pressing for the second goal of course, led to the second goal. When him and Lamine and Yamal were pressing the number 23 for Bilbao, I forget his name, in that corner. It was Kounde who won the ball on the floor, nutmeg past Lamine and Yamal, which in the end, of course, led to the winner. So all came from Kounde. Kounde was immense in this game for me. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10, locking down one of the best wingers in the world, a player that we all were twerking for this summer. Sublime. Defensive center back. I'm going to talk about Inigo first. I think Inigo really improved since his stinker at the Mestalla last week. I'll probably give Inigo a 7 out of 10. I thought he played really well. I think some of the loose balls when we had when we were in defensive transition, he wasn't too well with it. Like, you know, when we're trying to link up play, second balls bouncing around, didn't really control it really well, but aerially did very well. Passing off from the back was pretty good as well when we were, of course, in possession, and defended very well against Inaki Williams. You know, he read him a lot of the times. Again, they were former teammates for quite some years. Dealt really well with him, so I was really happy with Inigo today. In terms of Paul Kubarsi, man, I don't know. I'm having some doubts about Kubarsi because he's dropping stinkers, man. Take away him continuing the penalty. He was slipping a lot in this game. I don't know if his studs were different. I don't know if the pitch is just shite. I've seen some reports saying that the pitch isn't in the best condition since the João Gamper. I don't know, but Kubarsi was woeful in that first half. If I was Flick, I would have hooked him at halftime. He was that bad. I guess you can say thankfully we didn't. I think he improved in the second half, but I think overall still not the best of display from Kubarsi. And this is a bit weird from him. Of course, last season he was sensational on the Chavies. This new system maybe not suiting him. I'm not quite too sure, but he did not look good, in my opinion, in this game. I think, you know, the final 20 minutes, especially after Lewandowski got the goal, he looked really, really comfortable, especially playing off in the back. Defense airily as well, went for some corners, got, of course, a head injury, got tackled by Ander Herrera. That's caused the fight at the end of the game. But I think his open 70 minutes wasn't the greatest, and I'm a bit worried about Kubarsi, so we'll see how things develop. Hopefully just to be a little Pogba patch for him, you know, just, you know, integrating to Flick's system, coming back from the Olympics, stuff like that. I'm not quite too sure, but I'm a bit worried about Kubarsi. I'd probably give him I would say a 5. Maybe you could say an average 6, be generous, but you had to knock him down, I think, 1 point for giving away the penalty. In terms of Balde, I think Balde was fantastic. I think he's probably second in terms of my man of the match campaign. I thought he was absolutely sensational. Linked up play was superb. The runs down the flank were fantastic. Linked up very well with Ferran Torres for the majority of the game. Made great overlapping runs. The only criticism I have for Balde tonight, and again, it's constructive criticism, his delivery just needs... We've been saying this for 2 years now. The delivery just needs some fine-tuning. I'm seeing people saying that Gerard Martin has better delivery than Balde. That's how poor it is. Sometimes he'll deliver a brilliant pass, like he did against Valencia for the opening goal for Lewandowski. But sometimes you're thinking, you know, pull it back. You have Ferran Roy open, he'll, you know, put it somewhere else. Oh, far post, Lamine Yamal's open, he'll cut it back for Ferran Torres. Sometimes his actual crosses don't really connect very well as well. Just really needs to fine-tune his delivery. Once he does that, he'll be a world-class fullback. I think apart from that, some of his, of course, crosses were good tonight. Some of them, though, were poor. So I'd give him an 8 out of 10. I thought, again, he was absolutely fantastic. Bernal in the pivot, again, calm, cool, collected. He had a very, very poor opening, I would say, 10 minutes. He's giving the ball away quite a bit. Looked a bit nervy, but once the game settled a bit, he looked unreal. The commentator, when I was watching on ESPN, kept comparing him to Busquets for the friggin' entire game. Left-footed Busquets. I'm like, tranquilo, man. Let's not rush to conclusions. But he was fantastic. And you can see why Flick gave him the go-ahead to start in the lone pivot ahead of Marc Casado in this game. Again, Casado got a whole 90-minute rest as well for this game. So you can see the, you know, talent of Bernal. People are going to say, oh, we don't need a pivot anymore. I still think we do. If we can get one, that'd be nice. Again, to give him some coverage and not, you know, take some of the burden and pressure off him. But I think Bernal, again, was sublime in this game. You know, his awareness, the way he, you know, scans the pitch every time he gets the ball as well, gets it into good spaces, you know, tackles really well, stops counterattacks super well. He was just fantastic. I'll give him a very solid 7 out of 10. Again, for that sloppy 10 minutes, got a yellow card as well. So, don't think he was quite an 8, but definitely, you know, 7.5 in my opinion. Now, Pedri, beside him, I think Pedri was brilliant as well. I don't think he was quite an 8 out of 10, maybe 7. You know, I'll give him an 8. I'm feeling generous. I think Pedri was fantastic. I think the way he covered every single blade of grass, covering every inch of the area that he needs to cover, the runs that he made were fantastic, and the runs he, you know, made in transition as well to help Bernal defensive, you know, contribution was brilliant. And you can just tell that when Pedri's in the team, we have a sense of calmness, sense of composure, sense of, you know, awareness in that midfield. We saw it, of course, when he came on against Valencia last week, and having it, of course, for a full 90 minutes, you can see what he can dictate on that pitch. The passes he made were fantastic. The run he made, of course, for the Lewandowski goal in behind the defense that were double teaming Lamine Yamal. He noticed that. He saw the space right into it. All that awareness is what you want in a world-class midfielder, and Pedri is just all that. All I ask for Pedri is just to stay freaking fit. You can drop, you know, a stinker here and there, because I know that 9 times out of 10 he will play well. Motherfucker just never fit. Just stay fit. That's all I ask for. And he's, of course, without a doubt, a world-class player. And he showed that tonight in this game. Finally, Raphinha, you could say, he was playing in the 10, played a little bit on the left. 9 out of 10, my man of the match. I think Joga Bonito tonight was fantastic. I think apart from a goal or an assist, he did everything else right. Again, bit of indecisiveness in the final third, which again we know with Raphinha. He was the fourth captain on the pitch, so he's speaking a lot with the referee today. So it's nice to see him take a bit of that leadership role. He was fantastic. I mean, the runs he was making, the movement, the pressing, the crossing, everything was perfect from Raphinha tonight. Even when he went on the left, he looked really good. When Ferran Torres came off for Fermin Lopez, he looked so sharp, and you can see that I can sense that he wants to take a big step this season. I sense that he wants to be a mainstay, a main name. And now you're gonna bring the question up, oh, do we need a left winger? Yes, we still do, but Raphinha was unreal tonight, and you can see why that you should not be selling him to create wages and create space for the fair play margin. It is pointless with him. He is a world-class player on his day. He showed it today, played really well against Valencia last week as well. And I think he encapsulates what you want to see in a Barcelona attacker. Again, apart from the goal or assist tonight, sublime from him. I mean, he made a lot of great runs, a lot of fantastic through passes to Ferran Torres and Lewandowski in space as well. Maybe just fine-tune those a bit, because a lot of them sometimes are overhit, underhit. That counterattack that we had, where it was a 3v2, it was Raphinha who had the ball. He had Pedri to his right, Lewandowski to his left. I was saying on the stream, hit Lewandowski because it's RL9, world-class striker. You give it to him instead of Pedri. I understand that. Overhit the pass to shite, man. I was fuming. Apart from that, not getting a G or an A, I still think that Raphinha was fantastic. He's my man of the match without a shadow of a doubt. I give him a 9 out of 10. He was sublime. Lamine Yamal off the right, give him an 8. I mean, again, it's just that X factor with Lamine Yamal. He's world class. He's someone that gets you off his seat. You don't know what kind of magic he will potentially do. Of course, the goal was fantastic as well. Struggled a lot with take-ons in this game. I felt like we didn't see too many dribbles from Lamine Yamal. A lot of times the dribbles he did complete were from counterattacks where he just runs past defenders. A lot of the dribbling where we see him take on defenders, try to beat his man. We didn't see that too much, but a lot of him cutting inside, creating some spaces, putting in those deadly crosses that of course were fantastic. So I will give him an 8 out of 10. Ferran Torres, a little remontada from his stinker against Valencia last week. I'll give Ferran 7 out of 10. Looked really good in that first half. I think, apart from, the scoreline not being the greatest, he was one of the better performances in that first half. He completed a lot of dribbles, made some fantastic runs. He was in and linking play very, very well. But again, with Raphinha, with Ferran, it's just that bit of, spark, pizzazz in the final third. He just didn't have it in this game. He made a lot of great runs. Decision-making in the runs were shocking. There was one time when he was through, that was called offside. He went for a chip over the keeper. I mean, at least scored to give yourself some confidence or something like that. But I think just, that final X factor in the final third just wasn't there for Ferran. But, the build-up play was really good. Link-up play with Alejandro Balde on that left-hand side was fantastic. He was coming inside a lot, opening up the spaces for Lewandowski, for Pedri to make those deep runs as well. Was receiving a lot of the top of the through ball passes from Raphinha and Pedri. So I think he played really well. Hopefully that will help him with his confidence going forward. And finally, RL9, Robert Lewandowski. Everyone was saying Lua out of my chat, sub him off at halftime. But again, you cannot sub off a player like this when he's getting into good areas. I think with Lewandowski, I said in the game against Mestalla, world class, brilliant, hold up play, lick up play, in the box, sensational. Today was a bit different. In terms of, getting on the end of chances, he did really well. Of course, hit the post twice, was getting in behind. His hold-up play today was not the greatest. He lost the ball a lot when he tried to, hold up the play. Either Yarai, Vivian, Vesga, Pardos in that midfield, even Sunset at some points were bullying him off the ball. So that was a bit annoying to see from Lewandowski, because you're like, okay, if you can't score, at least have some good hold-up play, create some space. He did not do that today, but got a goal, which of course is what we want from Lewandowski. I'll give him, I think, a generous 7 out of 10. I think his performance was definitely a 6, but I'll give him a 7 for getting that important goal. And again, when he had that first chance where he hit the post from that, acute angle, the cutback for Ferran Torres wide open, that would have made it 2-0. Game over. Cruise control second half, but now in the second half we're going to fighting and trying to get the 3 points. Stuff like that where I think Lewandowski today could have improved. Again, his hold-up play wasn't the best today. In terms of the substitutions, no one really came on, had an impact. I think Gerard Martin came in. Eric Garcia, Pau Victor, and Fermin. So only 4 out of 5 subs used. by Flick. No one really came in and, you know, impressed the life. I think Fermin Lopez, really nice to see him again. Looked quite sharp. I think Pablo Victor had good energy when he came in. I don't think Jordan Martin touched the ball. Eric Garcia some good tackles as well, but nothing really to report on the substitution, so I'll give him all a 6 out of 10. And finally, Hansi Flick, I'm going to give him an 8. You know, we played well, got the 3 points. You know, I wish he made, you know, one more substitution, you know, used his squad. No Pablo Torre, would like to see him get some control in the game. You know, Pedri getting 90 minutes after coming fresh off the back of an injury. Stuff like that, but again, we played well, got the win. No clean sheet, which again is a penalty. I mean, you can't really, I guess, blame him, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Flick. But again, he has to keep improving. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, oh, I saw on Twitter just before I started recording this video, never seen a Barca team so fit, so physical, never seen such intensity, such pressure. Tranquilo. Calma. It's been 2 games. Don't lose your head. I want to mention one thing before, you know, in regards to Flick as well, the reason why I gave him such a high rating. The press today was fantastic. Once Lamine Yamal scored that goal, we were pressing the life out of Bilbao. They were making so many mistakes, and of course the press led to the second goal. In the right hand corner flag, Lamine Yamal, Kounde falls to the floor, they press him, does a little back heel flick to Lamine Yamal, and of course that builds up to the second goal. That's what we really lacked a lot under Xavi, and Xavi was kind of, you know, roles reversed. We'd press for like the first 15-20 minutes, then it'll just stop. But now we're kind of, you know, slowly easing up into the press, and then once we have, you know, a high intensity moment, maybe we have a high after scoring, the press is just relentless, and I want to see more of that as we, of course, we progress into the season. But overall, ecstatic, 3 points, 6 out of 6, no complaints apart from maybe, you know, a clean sheet and some more goals, but hopefully that will, you know, we'll build up to that as the games do progress. Of course, in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on the match, your player rating, your team performance rating, and your manager rating as well. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.